After the rapture happens and the restrainer is removed, the world will enter complete chaos. Jesus calls us the salt of the earth. Most people overlook this statement, but it is one of the most powerful identities he ever gave us. Salt was not just something people sprinkled for taste. In the ancient world, salt was valuable. It was powerful. It was essential for life. So when Jesus called believers the salt of the earth, he was saying something much deeper than people realize. Let me show you why it matters and why this becomes terrifying once the salt is removed. First, salt preserves. In ancient times, there was no refrigerators. Salt kept meat from rotting. Jesus was saying that believers help the world from spiritually decaying. Your prayers, your faith, your obedience, your presence all slow down corruption. You hold back darkness without even realizing it. Your life brings a level of protection to the people around you. Second, salt changes everything it touches. You can taste it instantly. It is small but strong and makes a big difference. Jesus was saying that the influence of a believer is noticeable, even if the believer feels small. Your words, your kindness, your compassion shift the atmosphere in a room. You carry something that people can really feel. Third, salt creates thirst. Salt makes you want water. Jesus was saying that your life should make people thirsty for God, thirsty for more. When they watch you, they should want the peace you carry, the strength you stand on, and the joy that does not make sense. Fourth, salt heals. In the ancient world, people used salt to clean wounds. Jesus was saying your presence should bring healing. Your forgiveness, your grace, and your love help clean wounds people never talk about. Fifth, salt is valuable. Salt was so important that Roman soldiers were sometimes paid with it. The word salary literally comes from the word salt. Jesus was saying you are valuable. You are not random or replaceable. God sees you as essential in this world. And sixth, salt only works when it leaves the container. Salt sitting in a jar does nothing. It has to be poured out to make a difference. Jesus was reminding you that your faith is meant to touch people. It is not meant to stay hidden. Your testimony and your growth were meant to influence the world around you. Now, here's the part nobody thinks about. If believers are the salt and the salt is removed, then what happens? If salt preserves and we are the preserving force, then removing that salt means the world loses its restraint. And that lines up perfectly with the pre-tribulation view of the rapture. Right now, believers all over the world slow down spiritual decay. Your prayers, your authority, and the Holy Spirit working through you act like a wall that holds back darkness. But when the rapture happens, that preserving influence suddenly disappears. The restraint is gone, and the world is left without having that very thing that was keeping it all from collapsing. And Second Thessalonians describes a restrainer that holds back the man of lawlessness until it is taken out of the way. Many believe that the restrainer is the Holy Spirit working through the church, which means when the church is caught up, the final flood of darkness begins. Think about meat with no salt. It does not slowly rot. It spoils immediately. In the same way, the world after the rapture is not going to be a slow decline. It is instant chaos. Truth collapses. Lawlessness rises. People believe any lie they hear because the voice of truth is gone. And here's the most haunting part of that. People do not notice salt until it is missing. When millions vanish and the moral anchor is ripped out of the world, people will finally understand how much of the presence of believers was holding all of that back. Everything changes the moment the salt is gone, and the removal of the salt sets the stage for the AC to rise. Without the restraining influence of the church, the world becomes desperate for answers, desperate for stability, desperate for someone to lead, and the AC steps in as that solution because the people who would have recognized the lie are no longer here. And that is why what Jesus said about salt was not just a metaphor. It was a warning. It was a calling. You are the preserving force of the earth. And one day, when that salt is removed, the world will feel the full weight of what you actually carried.